Paul's talking about some of the special people that God has given to the church. Special gifted people like apostles, prophets, evangelists, and pastor teachers. And he says they've been given to the church in order that the body of Christ may be built up, and they're given to prepare God's people, verse 12, for works of service. Now that word prepare is more interesting than you might think. It's used in lots of ways in Greek. For one thing, it's used for cleaning nets. It's the word that's used for mending nets back in the Gospels, when the fishermen are by the Lake of Galilee. And that's one of the things that those special people have to do for our lives. God has put special gifted people in the church, not so that we can all worship them and say how great preachers they are or what wonderful evangelists they are, but so that they can simply clean the nets. They can get the rest of us ready to go out and do works of service. It means we can't sit back and let the stars do it. They're not there to do it. They're there to get us doing it. And we're like nets that are clogged up with seaweed and have a few holes in them that the fish can swim through. We need to be mended and cleaned and sorted out before we're ready for God's service. And their job is to do that. The other way that this word is often used is to talk about the setting of a fractured limb. And Paul obviously knew the word in that connection because he hung around with Luke quite a bit, and Luke probably gave him lots of stories about medical school and the kind of things that doctors do in the gruesome way that doctors usually do when they're having a conversation with anybody. But Paul perhaps meant this sense too, that when we have these special people come into our lives through our churches and fellowships that we belong to, their job is to set us straight. You can't do much with a fractured limb. You can't fight off an enemy. You can't run a marathon. You can't walk. You can't lift a frying pan. You can hardly do anything. If there's a fracture, your limb is still there, but it's broken. It's nowhere near as effective. It's been weakened. And so it's not fit for the purpose it was sent for. So again, God has put special people in our path so that through them we can learn how we can serve God better, so that the weak bits can be set straight, so that the fractures, the breaks in our service for him can be mended, and we can be one effective, powerful body once again. So let's look for that help from those whom we admire in the Christian faith. Not just to say, oh, they're wonderful, we could never be like them, but to say, what have they got to teach us? What can I learn from them that's going to make me a better servant of God today? Think about that through the day. Who do you admire? And what have they got to teach you that you haven't learned yet?